You are tuned in to What Up Baltimore online radio. Please note that the views and opinions expressed on this channel are of the host and not of Lady J Media. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, What Up Baltimore TV. And if you really don't want to miss any of the shows, hit that notification bell and you'll get a message every time we come on. Now, we got it from here, so sit back, relax, and stay tuned.
I know you do, because that's what I do. I give you that kind of love that makes you come back. I'm your pusher, baby. Your
Hey, little black boy, let me holler at you for a minute. I was once in your place, you should respect what I say. Some of the things I'm about to tell you just may save your life in a world where not much is right. Little black boy, you're gonna see and experience all sorts of things, but don't let your mind be locked in a chain. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Spitfire Poetry Shutdown. I am your host, John Hansboro. It is April 26, 2023. Before I get started, I want to thank each and everybody for the birthday shout-outs. Yesterday was my birthday. I turned 48. I want to thank you so much for reaching out, taking time out of your day just to say happy birthday, the calls, the texts, everything. I also want to give a thank you to my sister, Ejthepoet Shakespeare, and Karen Hill for the amazing event that they put on Sunday at Sizzle Nightclub. Thank you. It was so unexpected, and I appreciate every last one of you who has something to do with that open mic. All right, today we got my sister, Ericka EJ, the poet Epps, on the show today. She's been on here a few times.
Yes.
I haven't talked to her in about at least I know about 2 or 3 months. The intro to the show, I think, is the last time that you was on when I had all y'all on there. And
yes.
Ejthepoet Shakespeare with her crazy self. I love her.
Yeah, that was a fun show.
Yeah. How you doing tonight, Ericka?
I am doing wonderful. Great things are happening in my life. And I just want to say once again, thank you for the opportunity for me to be on your show. I enjoy coming on here.
Absolutely. I love you coming on here. You look absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Tell the people a little bit about yourself before we get started.
Well, I'm Baltimorean. I am Ericka EJ, the poet Epps. I am an author, a playwright, a mother, a grandmother, a veteran, a working hard lady, and I'm just here enjoying life.
Yeah, you definitely wear a lot of hats. Now, the playwright, I forgot that you was a playwright. You mentioned that to me before, I know. Do you have any plays written right now?
I have a few plays written, and I actually did plays in Baltimore. It's been a few years ago, but when I had Apartment Fire, I lost all my CDs and stuff, everything that was recorded on there. Mm-hmm. So and then a pandemic happened, so everything shut down. So now that we're up and running again, I'm going to actually go back into the on stage start next year, 2024. So I'll actually be bringing a lot of my plays back to stage. I'm going to rewrite them up, bring them up to date, and rewrite them again.
Well, if you need any actors or poets, definitely give me a holler. I would love to be a part of anything that you're doing.
I sure will.
Absolutely. So I know that you just released a book not too long ago too, right?
Yes. I released a book in January 2021. Mm-hmm. It's called My Silent Scream, My Present Praise, and it's still doing well on Amazon. Yes, this book is about my life. And when I actually say I bared it all, and a lot of people that
grew up with me and went to school with me didn't have no idea of all the pain and hurt and abuse and stuff I went through. So reading a book and being transparent, it actually helped a lot of other females, because I had so many emails, phone calls, text messages, women in my box, even men in my box saying that they appreciate me sharing my story, because it helped them to open up about their family issues and family secrets and how it can destroy a person and a family as well.
Absolutely. And that's not easy to do, to share. It took me a while to be able to share some of the things that I dealt with. And before I wrote my first book, Unusual Favor, I wanted to get confirmation or permission from my wife to be able to share some of the things that we dealt with. And she was like, the response that she gave me was, baby, you know, that's your truth. Tell your truth about what we dealt with. And I was like, okay. And it helped me to, like, while I was dealing, I was writing, and I didn't even realize, Ericka, but it started to help me to get through what I was dealing with at that time.
Right. Because as we speak on it, we are freeing ourselves from all the hurt, all the pain. And, you know, you hold something, it's like a bubble. You hold it in and hold it in, but once you let it out, you feel so much better. And a lot of people need to understand, when people write their stories, it's not shaming other people, but it's not for them. It's for our, we need our release. We need to be free within ourselves, and we have to be, in order to forgive, we got to forgive ourselves and forgive other people in order for us to live and be free. Because the longer we hold it in, it doesn't do anything but damage us even further. And then it goes into the next generation, So we have to start somewhere.
That's serious right there, because that generational thing is something that we pass down to each other. And sometimes we don't even realize some of the things that we're dealing with, that we're pushing right on to our children and our children's children. So it's good to be able to break that cycle at some point. So when you were dealing with some of your traumas and tribulations in your life, is that when you found writing? Is that how you came upon poetry and writing and things like that?
Yes. So I started writing. Going through my trauma, because instead of writing walls and beating up stuff and destroying stuff, I just started writing words on the paper, and then it just started rhyming. And then I just started writing it. And now when I go back and look at my poems, I can tell exactly where I was in what part of my life for each poem.
That's interesting. Now, what does that make you feel like, though, when you read over that? Like when you look at stuff from years ago, you know what I mean? And you can read it, because I do the same thing. I'll read it and I can actually feel not feel myself, but I can picture me in that place, in that time when I was dealing with those situations. What does that do for you? Does it inspire you in any way?
Sometimes when I go back and read certain poems, it'll take me back in that moment, and the tears will start flowing because I'm feeling that pain. But then once I read it again, I can look and say, wow, I survived that. And look, so I can say, oh, I was there, but look at me now. So I survived that. So it's like, I've been, but I didn't break. Yes, I almost went through a point where, to this point where you're like, okay, I'm done. But then when I read my poems now, I'm like, wow, I've been through a lot of stuff. Yes.
Absolutely. How does it make you feel to be able to help others, though?
It feels wonderful, because growing up, when I felt as though I didn't have any help, when I didn't have an outlet, when I didn't have anybody I trusted I can go to, now that I'm older and I can help other people and they feel comfortable coming to me, that it just makes me feel so much better, because now I can help someone through that situation. Because I always remember who wasn't there to help me. So let me be better in this generation to help this generation.
Does it feel like a weight on you, like you have a responsibility to do these things?
My calling, it is my responsibility to help this generation and the generations to come. That is my calling. I'm here to help people. That's my ministry. So I'm going to walk in my ministry. I believe in Christ. If it wasn't for Christ, I know I wouldn't be here. And I know God has a purpose for me, and this is my purpose. He sent me through all of this for such a time as this, to this day, for me to help the next generation is coming through. So that's my ministry. That when people call me, hey, I need to talk, like I tell them, and I'm all sincere. If it's 2:00 in the morning, I'd rather for you to call me instead of going to self-destruct. Don't get in that car. Don't take your life. I mean, call me. I'm up. My phone is on 24/7. And when I say that, I really mean that.
Wow. That's beautiful, Ericka, that you're doing that. Um, let's get right into some poetry. I mean, what you just said really is resonating because I feel the same way as so many other brothers and sisters that I have in poetry.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we all have gotten to a point where we realize what we're doing and why we're doing it. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But when you're going through the fire, you don't think about the end result of how it's going to help others. You just thinking about, I know I did anyway. I was just like, I'm in this mess. How am I going to get out of it? I don't know what to do, who to go to. You know, I did get strong in my faith,
Mm-hmm.
but I needed it was still something that wasn't connecting. And one day I left church one day and came home and wrote one of my first poems. They say all that shouting isn't necessary. And then
That's my favorite poem. I like that one.
it seemed like everything lined up.
Yeah.
It really did. It seemed like everything lined up. And it was like a light just came on, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm like, damn, because I didn't even know where the words came from. I was just writing. I was just putting it down.
Right.
You know, but what I was doing was actually talking about and telling my traumas and things that I was dealing with at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you're ready, Ericka, whenever you want to spit, whatever you want to say, go ahead and give it to us. My show is no holds barred. So you know, however you feel as though you need to bring it, bring it.
Okay, so I'm gonna do different types of poems tonight. However you let me do it, I'm just gonna flow.
Okay.
This one's called "I Don't Sleep."
Mm.
I stay woke because I don't sleep. I don't sleep because I'm constantly creep. I creep to my lounge, turn on my laptop, putting my thoughts on the screen before my head pops. I have lyrics for days, thoughts for weeks, intelligent conversations letting my mind speak. In the still of the night is when I like to write, pouring out my emotions. I admire the starlights. Writing is my love language, is how I communicate. Do you dare to try to understand me? This could be a great debate. I stay woke because I don't sleep. Getting caught up in my thoughts can get really, really deep.
I love it. I love it. And listening to you reminds me of when I had you on before. So you have a flow and a style that reminds me, and I know I said it to you before. It reminds me of Maya Angelou. It really does. And I know you told me you met her before.
Yes.
When you were younger. What was that like meeting her?
I was in awe. I met her at Borden's bookstore. It was the poetry slam. And that was my first one I entered. And I met her, and just to shake her hand and hear her speak. And when I did my poetry that night, I was so nervous. But she, one thing she told me, and I told her I loved poetry, and I was reading her books as well. And she told me, she said, if there's anything I could take from her, if that's all I do is write, whether it's from my pain or just to write, I was born to be a writer, and don't stop writing. And I just hold on to those words so much. And that was my first and only time meeting her. And all my life, I wish I could met her again. But yeah, but that was my first time. And I think I was 20. I think I was 24, 25 when I met her.
You have a voice of a you should be doing audio too, like an audio book. You know what I mean? I feel as though I can listen to you with a good audio book as well.
You're the second person who told me that.
Really?
Yeah, someone said you ought to do audio books or radio. And I was like, they said your voice is. I was like, okay.
I can see. I can picture radio too as well. You know, or maybe your own podcast show or something. You know, definitely. But when it comes to writing, though, so how long would you say you've been writing? How all your life, or like when? What was the age you think you fell into it?
I started writing when I was 12. Okay. And my first poem was on Channel 13. They used to have this show called Speak Out. And that was my first time. I gave it to my English teacher in school. And she sent it to Channel 13. And they sent me on Channel 13 Speak Out. And it was called Stop the Violence. I can't even remember the poem, but I was on Channel 13 Speak Out. I'm still trying to get in contact with them to see if they have it in archives, because I would sure like to see it again.
What is your plan? What do you plan to do? And like, how do you think God is using you to help other people, like with your ministry?
Starting a women's ministry, well, not women's ministry for teenagers and from teenagers from ages 12 and up, no age cap. So, and just to have a whether we meet twice a week or on the weekends, just to be able to have a place where they can come, no judgment zone, just to talk about. So everyone that's coming has a common interest. And I want people to be able to, whether you want to laugh or cry, we just lay on the pillows, have our Kool-Aid, our soda, wine, whatever. Because I know some people don't drink, but just to be comfortable. Let's just sit up here, because us women, we go through a lot. Let's just talk. Even if we talk for 4 or 5 hours, I want everyone's voice to be heard. I want everyone to be able to know someone is listening to them. And not only to listen, I just don't want them to come to talk, but also offer resources. So if they need resources at the end, I want to be able to provide them with professional resources that's going to help them as well once they leave my organization.
I love it. And I think you're the right person for that too. I really believe that would help a lot of people. It really would. And I believe you're the right person for it. The only way that we can help others is if we deal with and talk about some of the things that we dealt with. Right. You know what I mean? I feel like people, when they see that you have overcome some of your struggles, it may inspire them to say, well, shit, I can, somehow I could do the same thing. I just need a little bit of a push or something, or whatever she used, I need to use to get me to that level too, because it's a lot that goes on right now. I think mental health is so important right now.
Yes, it's necessary.
Just in everyday travels, I see people just lose it so fast. I could be standing in line at a grocery store anyway. Like people just, it's like a lot of us, a lot of people are on the edge, and you don't know what everyone's dealing with.
Exactly.
So I try to remind myself of that when I come across someone who's rude and ignorant. You know what I mean? Even in driving, I don't even get mad when people give me the finger or blow the horn anymore. I try to just let it go.
Right. And then we also got to be careful too, because no matter, sometimes it's not what we say it to a person, it's how we say it to a person. We don't know if that person is on the last brink or just get ready to snap. So you don't want to be that person that take that person over the edge. We have to learn how to be nice. And one thing I think we're missing in this generation is communication skills, conflict resolution skills. There's none. There's none. Everybody quick to fight. Pick up a gun, quick to shoot people. There's no communication skills and there's no conflict resolution skills, and it is much needed.
But how do we get to this? You know what I mean? I mean, I don't understand how we got to this point. I really don't.
I'm still scratching my head.
Yeah, I am too. But I agree with you. Definitely, the communication skills is a major part, because I feel as though if we learn how to communicate and talk with each other, then we'll be able to solve problems a little bit differently, or we'll be able to understand each other more. You know what I mean? If we just give each other that time to, express ourselves, and especially with the children out here, the children go through a lot, and I feel as though as parents, we need to set the example for them, not, hey, I got 2 daughters. Hey, my oldest daughter, go out there and punch that girl in her face, and you better not lose. You better whip her. No, we just that can't be done. We have to stop that.
And the family dynamics has shifted too, because no longer is mom in the house cooking dinner and everybody's eating dinner together. Mom's at home, dad's not home, dad's home, mom's not home. That whether they're in school or out in the street, the TVs, video games, and everything is raising the children.
Absolutely.
I run a child care center. I have children coming to school 9 o'clock in the morning. They want to take a nap at 9 o'clock because mom's like, oh, I went to sleep. I just put him in his room and I'm with his video games. He didn't go sleep at 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay, who's the parent? Who's the child? And this is what we're getting. So it's like, it's really disheartening sometimes, but we don't, it's like, where do we start to flip it back around? Because it's really getting out of hand.
Right, it is. And I commend any teachers that are watching right now. I thank you for your service, because I commend you guys on what you have to deal with in the school systems with not only the children, but some of the parents as well. Because all of us are not, some of us deal with situations, just like you said, and violence instead of some type of peaceful conflict resolution. They just go straight to 100, Right. So it's that I feel as though that's something that's a question that we really, I mean, we have answers for it, but it's something that we just have to put in motion. You know, I don't mind talking about stuff, but it's time we got to start putting things in motion.
Exactly.
To be able to, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Each one teach one type of thing, you know.
Exactly. How you say it takes a village to raise a child, but the village can't raise your child no more. Because as soon as the village say something to your child, and you're ready to fight.
Right. We definitely gotta get past that.
Exactly.
All right, I know people don't want to hear me talk. Whenever you want to spit something else, Ericka, you go right ahead.
Okay. This next poem is called Can You?
Can you? Okay.
Can you make me laugh? Can you make me smile? Can you hold a conversation that's longer than a mile? Can you be spontaneous? Can you take the initiative? Can you love me back? Can you appreciate the love that I give? Can you match my speed? Can you calm my rage? Can you chill with me on those warm, rainy days? Can you? I know you can, but the question is, will you?
I love it. Can you? What inspired that?
I was in a cross between Love Jones and Love and Basketball. And I was listening to some of the things that they're spoken words. And then I was watching Love and Basketball. And for some reason, I don't know why these questions started popping in my head, because I'm a movie fanatic, so I watch a lot of movies. And so I was watching Love Jones and I was watching Love and Basketball. And what's love got to do with it? Sometimes I watch certain movies that has different titles, but almost have the same love thing in different loves. So, and that's how I wrote that. So I was just sitting up one day and I was like, and I just started writing the questions down, and then I just put it in words like that.
Is that so? Do you use that? Do you get thoughts like that for creativity all the time?
Yes. And sometimes I could be watching the Maury Povich show, or when Jerry Springer used to come on and they used to have a lot of craziness stuff going. I would sit there and watch that. And then by the time the show go off, I have a poem. And I have so many things in the box. My aunt told me, she said, I'm going to start putting it together because I need to finish. I started it, but I didn't finish it yet. I have a whole book of poetry, and it tells why I wrote each poem. So I'm putting it together. So I'm trying to make sure I put it together. So when people actually turn the pages, it's like a page turner just steady putting poems in a book. It's a reason why I put the poems there. So.
Why, of what inspired you to write each poem?
Yes.
I like that. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. When was the first time that you noticed that your words encouraged or inspired somebody?
The first time, I think I was at a church play when I did a church Christmas play, and then I did some poems afterwards. And a couple of people came up to me and said, I love this play and I love the poems that you did in there, and they're very great, and we just love it. Can you do the play again? And I was like, oh, okay. Because at first I was just writing poems and be writing them. And then after that, I was like, people are actually really listening to what I'm writing. So then I just started being more creative and then listening to what I'm paying attention to what I was really writing. And sometimes I would scratch a whole poem and end up coming back and end up writing the same poem, the one I threw away the first time. So I go back and forth with different poems.
What would you say is the what do you get out of it though? Like when you do open mics, or when you because when I met you at Desmond's. Desmond guys open mic. Shout out to my brother Desmond.
Yes, hey Des, hey Jewel.
Yep, I love them. They the greatest. Hey, yep, Desmond and Jewel guy, I love them. Get their books too. Look them up, guys, and get that book, Dear Black Man and Dear Black Woman.
Yep.
Yes, definitely get that. They are definitely must get books. What do you get out of it though? Like do you get a rush when you're delivering your poetry, or do you get nervous right before? Like what is your mindset before you go and go on stage and give your delivery?
Before I do my poem, I get nervous. I'm not for sure if you noticed, but sometimes before I do my poems, I'll go behind the stage or whatever. I'll walk around circles. But then I also have my cell phone. For some reason, I love this song, Phil Collins, Air of Night. I had that playing in my ear. I can feel it coming in the air of night. Oh, Lord. And then when I get to the drum part, that's when I'm ready to roll. Then I get out. I do what I got to do. Then I come back off stage and whoosah.
Right.
It's like I zone out. I get into a zone. And I go out there and do what I got to do. And then I'm done.
Is it a release when you're done? Do you feel, you know what I mean? Like you just let go of a lot of stuff?
Yes. Especially when I have open mics where they say no, there's no rules. You can do any type of poem, so you don't have to, because it's harder for me to do poems when I'm sitting in a. So, prime example, my church had a what we call a red plate dinner, and what we do, we honor 3 different groups every Christmas, and we provide foods for them. We give them awards, certificates, and everything. We have a program, so I had to kind of like put my poems in like a box, so it could still be, so they could still have poems and get the gist of it. But when I'm able to go to an open mic and they say, "Do you?" and I don't have to curtail anything, I'm just, so you can kind of like tell the difference in my presentation. So if you see me somewhere where, you know, it's like, okay, we need you to curve it to this, or will you say, okay, go out there, do you? Okay, so you can tell the difference when I'm doing two different events.
I definitely get that. I feel like it's like a switch that comes on as you're preparing for it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Now more and more, I really take this serious. Like if I'm invited to an event to do some poetry or something like that, like I really am hard on myself to make sure what, like I'll always have, okay, which ones do I want to do? I want to do this 4, this 5 maybe. And before that, I go over them and make sure, because I feel as though I got to give the delivery that I was feeling when I was writing it. I used to do a lot of stage plays, so I incorporate a lot of acting and emotion. I'm an emotional person anyway. I'm a full-blown Taurus, so I'm very emotional. But so I try to incorporate that in my poetry so I can make you feel what I was dealing with at that time.
Right.
It's nothing better than being at an open mic and you're doing your poetry, and there may be some talking going on in the background, couple whisperings, you know what I mean? Maybe someone's ordering food, but as you go into it and you realize that no one else is talking anymore, they have totally stopped because they're trying to listen to exactly what you're saying. You've captured them that much. I think that's such a powerful, and like, it's just it just does something to me. You know, Sunday I did some poetry somewhere, and it was at a restaurant, and a couple people that wasn't a part of what we were doing was on the other side talking and things like that, and it wasn't too bad. Doesn't bother me. I'm gonna over talk you anyway. When it's my time to go up there, I'm gonna over talk you, right?
Exactly.
And after a while, they just stop, and you can hear a pin drop, you know. And it gave me such a rush, you know what I mean, to be able to because I feel as though as poets, we have to demand that time, that space that we're using at the time. That, you know, that's your time. When you got that mic in your hand or you up in front of that mic, that's your time. And the way I feel as though I'm a demand to get this time so I can heal me and hopefully pass this out to somebody else.
Right.
You know?
It's funny that you said that, because before the pandemic hit, I used to go to a Peace and a Cup of Joe downtown before they moved to that new location. And one of my things, I never eat before I do spoken words. I never eat. I'll probably drink some water, and that's about it. And I remember the waiter coming to the table. She was like, "Would you like to order anything?" I said, "This is what I want to order, but don't fix it until after I do my spoken words, because I don't eat before I." And I did my poems, I did my words and everything, and it was like the audience, this is my first time there at this point, and the whole crowd was like, and they was just snapping. I seen people putting that food down, just snapping. I was like, okay, so I finished it. When I got to the table, the waitress said, this gentleman right here, he just ordered your food. Here you go. That made me like, wow. He was like, and he was like, you did the thing. And he was just like, I just had to bow down. I was like, well, thank you, sir. He said, no, thank you. He said, because that was, and after that, it's like, now I said, every time, just like you said, when you come on that stage, the people here to see you, you got to give them what they want.
Right. I try to do that all the time. I want to give them something when they leave to think about.
Right.
You know what I mean? Some of the words that you said to think about. So yeah, whenever you're ready, let's do something else. What would you say is one of your favorite poems that you wrote, though? What's your most favorite that you had?
this poem right here.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of my favorite. The one I'm going to do.
Okay.
Because this is really from a friend that I really. This is called Lost in Poetry.
Okay.
But this is one of my favorites. We started out as friends because of the bond we shared as poets. A sexual desire between us grew without us ever knowing it. As each verse was written in a sexually explicit way, we completed each other's verse as if we already knew what to say. Your words felt like your tongue was licking between my thighs. The rhythm of your words was making my inner nature rise.
Uh-oh.
Your hardcore words penetrating my mind, body, and soul. New verses every day. Your words never grew old. But then the poetry stopped because our lives were on two different tracks. Time was no longer on our side, but I really need my poetic lover back.
Wow.
And I wrote that one, and it really wasn't a sexual encounter between us. It was just, I had a male friend that I would put something on Facebook, and we met on Facebook, and then he would answer it in a message. So it got to a point where I would write something, he would write something. So it got to a point where we had all these words back and forth, and it just flew like that. But he was in the military. I think he's still in there, and he got shipped over to I don't know where he is now. I think he's still in Korea. I think so. That's when I said time was no longer outside with my poet. So because his time frame over there, and my time, and he's working and he's out there on the battlefield and stuff. So I haven't talked to him in a long time, but we used to just flow with each other words back and forth like that. And we always said if we ever had a chance that we was going to do some poetry together, but it never happened.
Wow. And he was a poet as well, like you said, huh?
No, actually, he wasn't a poet. I just post stuff on Facebook. He just started writing stuff to answer what I was writing, and we just started going back like that. But he didn't consider himself a poet. But I was like, we should do something together, and he said, sure. But I haven't talked to him in a minute.
That's powerful though, that he's just looking at your words and it inspired him to write something.
Right.
He don't even consider himself a poet at all.
Exactly. I was like, wow. Yeah, but we haven't talked to him. But whenever he comes back to stateside, or if he reach out to me, I said I would love it because like that was my poetic lover.
Now you have a military background as well, right?
Yes, I did 8 years in the Army.
Okay. Now, has that inspired you in your writing as well, too? Some of the things that you may have seen or dealt with when you were in the Army?
Yes. Well, I'm not for sure if I shared the story with you. None of the things I dealt with in the Army that I wrote about, except for when it's in my book where I was sexually assaulted on active duty in Germany. So it's I did a poem about that, but when I wrote it, I don't read it that much because it just takes me back to. But I didn't really write poems dealing with stuff in the military. I just did other things, but the military didn't have. But if you look at my poems, there's nothing like where I'll say, "Oh, I'm in the Army, such and such and such." It wasn't like that. I just wrote different things. Some things that make me laugh, cry. Some things that I've seen from other people.
What is your biggest inspiration to write? You think? Is it you? Like I said, what is your biggest inspiration when it comes to writing? Like, what makes you grab the pen?
The rain.
The rain.
The rain. It's like when I'm by myself and it's raining and thunder. Just give me my wine, give me my pen, and I can write. For some reason, it's like the sound of the rain and the thunder. It clears my mind and it opens up my thought process, and I just start writing.
That's crazy. We share that because I love the rain as well. People used to always look at me crazy when I used to always say that, but I do. I love the rain. I don't like to drive in it, but when it's raining, I love to be home. You know,
right. Yes.
I can dive into creativity when I'm home and it's raining and things of that nature. I've written about 2 or 3 poems that have to do with rain. You know what I mean? And to me, the same way, it's something in it that's soothing. I put it on screensavers at night or on YouTube. You know, I may have rain in the background while I'm asleep that's going on,
right?
Or even a fireplace crackling, something like that. That'll help me to get good sleep. And then when it comes to creativity now, I noticed that I can find creativity in almost anything now. Like I don't even look for it. I used to look for creativity to find like I want to write something, you know. And I would grab a pen and it's like nothing would come out. You know what I mean? But after a while, little things, you know, you would see and do would inspire me to write something. Nothing inspires me more than this, what we're doing right now, or me being at an open mic.
Right.
You know, when I'm around it and around peers such as yourself who are into their work, it inspires me and pushes me as well. And it also, it's like shit, I don't even know how to explain it. It's such an like it's starting to be like an addiction for me almost.
Right. It's
that
because
makes any sense.
You gotta have it. You need that laptop. You need that pen. I gotta write. Exactly.
I gotta write, and I gotta hear it. I gotta be around it.
Right.
You know. I did a play with some friends a few months back towards the end of the year in spring of last year. And it's like I was coming up with so much things to write when I would come home because I was around so much creativity. You know what I mean? That like-minded type of thing where you just get inspired by people around you. So I'm very serious about surrounding myself with the right people. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
How do you feel about that? Like, what do you do to keep your immediate circle a positive one, whereas though you can flourish and function every day without having, you know, a lot of us, we got friends, and I try to help a lot of people. Sometimes though, I have to watch myself because I don't want some people to put that baggage on me. I got enough that I deal with, and I don't want to haul your trash too. You know what I mean? So how do you break that down and decipher from that? I think you muted.
Can you hear me?
Yep, got you.
Okay. Yeah, so I have a handful of friends that that they know that's my passion. And sometimes when I say I need to write, she was like, "Come on over." And there go the couch. I'll sit on the couch or I'll sit on the floor, and I'll just write. And as I'm writing, she's listening. I have somebody else on the phone. So I have 5 good friends that I know when it's time to be right. What did this sound like? How did this sound? They be like, yeah, no. So they're giving me positive feedback. So when it comes to that, my circle is real small because I want somebody that's going to be truthful to me. Because I'm like, please don't let me self-sabotage. So please give me your. So if you're not going to be truthful to me when I'm trying to, and you know that's what I'm trying to do, and I want to be great at it, I can't have you in my circle. So I found my 5 small friends, and that's my poetry circle. Now then I have other family members. You know, they're going to support me anyway. But I have that faithful 5 that I know when it's time for me to do poetry, books, stage plays. It's almost there. That's my team right there.
That's good to have the right people around you. I'm very serious about that. I'm serious. Right. I had to learn that.
But you can't have everybody because some people just there just to be there, and it's not serving you any purpose. So be there because it's going to be you're going to serve a great purpose.
Right. I was just talking to my therapist about that earlier. I beat myself up about not calling people back sometimes. Like you get a lot of different calls or people may text you, and sometimes I can't keep up with responding to it and then dealing with my everyday life with 2 daughters, a home, a wife. You know what I mean? Like it's like what purpose does I hate to feel like I'm being selfish, but at the same time you have to protect your peace. So what purpose does it serve you? You know, do I have to call this person back right now? Is it that important? You know, can I just send them a message? Do I have to call every single person who reaches out to me for just about anything? You know what I mean? You gotta set boundaries and you know, narrow it down.
But and also when you set those boundaries, just like my friends, we know we may not talk all week, or if we text each other and don't text each other back, as long as we know we operate, we're good. Because like you said, we have families, we have jobs, we have careers. It's not like you don't pick up the phone, but if that person's like, well, you ain't coming back, evidently that person don't have a life, don't have nothing to do. But a grown person understand adult things.
Right.
So at the end of the day, hey, sis, I know you text me Monday, it's Wednesday, you good? Yeah, I'm good. But also if it's an emergency, they know, hey, it's an emergency, stop. I need you to call me right back. Hey, everything pause. But if we just text saying, hey, how you doing? Just making sure you're good. Or if I don't hear from you from Thursday, if you have that certain group of people and they understand that, those are friends that you keep. The ones that want to whine, complain about everything, it's too much baggage. You got to be able to separate them.
Before you do your next poem, Ericka, what would you say has changed about you since the first time I met you? I think it's been what, at least maybe 2 years, you think?
No, because it was last winter. No, what's this 20?
It's 2023. So was it 21 or 22? I think it was 21.
No, it's 23 now. So it was winter 2021.
Okay.
Yes, it was winter 2021.
So what would you say has changed about you in that short period of time?
Ooh, my patience, my mentality, and my spiritual level. Well, let me put it in my spiritual level, my mentality, and my patience. Let me put it in that order.
Because without the spiritual, you gotta have that for the other stuff.
Let me reverse that. My spiritual level, my mentality, and my patience. Yes, yeah. I had, because a lot of people in the last couple of years, I lost a lot of. I wouldn't say friends. I guess you call them associates because they're friends. They would still be here, but I realized once you get called into a ministry, some people, certain people in your life will drop off, and that's fine. You got to be okay with that, because when you start going to a certain level, everybody's not meant to go. So the people that's still in my life, I know that they're meant to be here, and a lot of things I want to go do, and at first I was getting frustrated. I think, like you said earlier, I wanted to go here, I wanted to go there, I wanted to go everywhere people invited me. But then my therapist had to remind me, just because they invite you don't really mean that they want you there. So I had to pick and choose of where I'm going, and also be cool of not being invited. So within the last year or so, I put everything in perspective, and so much things been happening positive for me. So I was like, So a lot of times people gonna be dropping off, but it's good because the ones that are still there are gonna be the ones that's gonna help you, or you may help them into that next level where they need to go. Absolutely. So now, with my mentality, I'm okay with that. I'd rather have 4 quarters than 10 dimes. So yeah.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, Ericka, whatever you ready, let's spit something else.
Okay. This is another one of my favorites. Blurred lines. You love me. I like you. You protect me. I fight you. You analyze. I complain. You bring sunshine. I force the rain. You keep up with time. I procrastinate like hell. You keep secrets. I kiss and tell. You feed my heart. I tear yours apart. You'll create a masterpiece, and I'll destroy your art. You want me to stay. I'm pushing you away. You want to talk. I have nothing to say. You wonder why I act like this? I can give you a play-by-play list. Our lines became blurred when you began to ignore my needs. You started being unfaithful, sleeping around, planting your seeds. I became your afterthought on things that I used to be put first. I became your dehydration. I no longer quenched your thirst. My beauty no longer existed to you. The sight of me made you sick. Your eyes began to wander around town, looking at all your other side chicks. The magnitude of your disrespect set my hurt and anger level on high. My emotions changed from fire to ice. I'm so angry I can't even cry. Now you're calling me every day, saying that you need some sexual healing. In the words of Jasmine Sullivan, don't forget to pick up your feelings.
Now that is one of my favorites that you do. That is one of my favorites, blurred lines. I have been there where I've been so angry where you don't even have the tears to draw up. You so upset. You know exactly. What I mean? That is one of my favorites that you do, though. Definitely, I love that. I love that blurred lines. What inspired the blurred lines?
I'm trying to remember if that was I'm trying to think if that was a TV show or one of the reality shows. But I remember I wrote this from a TV show that I was watching. But I can't remember if it was the Real Housewives or it was one of them shows I was watching. But it was because they was going back and forth, and I was like, "Dad, that's blurred lines," and they confused with each other. And then I was like, and I just started writing.
Did you always have that type of creativity where you could just, you know what I mean, just look at something or hear something and just put something together behind it in your own way?
Because I don't know where it came from, because my mom's still trying to figure out where it came from, because she's not. She said, I don't know where you got that talent from. She said, but it's good because I don't know where it just started happening, and that's how I write. And sometimes I try to write poems that don't rhyme, but they don't come out right for me.
Me too. Everything I write, somehow, some way, there's some rhyming in it along the way. I don't know, you know what I mean? Along the way, there's definitely some type of rhyming going on with it. Ericka, tell everybody how we can follow you and keep up with you and what you got coming up, what you gonna be doing in the next few months.
Well, the next few months, I'm still waiting for the venue to call me back. I'm going to have another poetry and jam session like I had the year before last, where I had a lot of I had 5 poets and I had a live jazz band and we served food. So as soon as the venue called me back, I can put the date out. We're pushing it for August. So we have a live poetry and jazz jam session again. I could be reached on Facebook at Ericka Ejthepoet Epps. My website, www.ej/the/poet.com. And I'm also on Instagram, EJ_the_poet.
Please keep me posted on when you're doing that event. I would love to be a part of that. If I'm not in it, at least be there to witness it. It's nothing like good music, food, and just good words, good vibes. You know what I mean? I've never, ever been to an open mic where I did not have a good time. Never.
I most definitely want you to be a part of it.
You're right.
Yes, and Ejthepoet and Jam-Mac, I need all the ladies that was on the screen. I need you to if you can send me all the information.
Absolutely.
I would like for all of us to be a part of that. And have a nice jam. We'll have a good old time.
Yes, that would be beautiful. Keep doing what you're doing, sis, because it truly is a ministry. I think that you are perfect for it. It's definitely a calling. I see it all over you. I really do. I see it all over your life. And I thank God for the gifts and abilities that he gives us, you know what I mean? And that he's able to connect us all so we can bounce and throw things off of each other. I appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. Guys, follow Ericka Ejthepoet on Instagram and Facebook. Keep up with her as much as you can. Are you going to be putting out any more books soon?
I'm actually working on my second book to follow up to this one. So prayerfully, it'll be out January 2024.
Absolutely. I love it.
Ericka, new year, new book.
Huh?
I said new year, new book.
Absolutely. Yes. New year, new book. We can find your book still on Amazon as well, right?
Yes. Amazon is still selling My Silent Scream, My Present Praise.
Y'all want to get that book if you can as soon as possible. Sis,
and if you want an autographed copy, hit me up on the message on Facebook. I have books available. I will autograph for you and bring them to you.
Absolutely. I definitely need to order mine so I can get you to autograph it for me. I like to collect all of the people that I bring on the show that have books. I like to keep all, you know what I mean, collect them.
I have your book on my bookshelf too.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Your favor. That's a good book.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Look, I appreciate you so much for coming on. You are so awesome. You are so powerful, and I'm telling you, your words move. Like, you really have your own. We all have our own styles, but you push me towards Maya Angelou for I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is, but you know, you put me in that mind frame when I'm listening to your words, and I love it. I appreciate you for what you do. Thank you. Good luck, and God bless you for your ministry, because I know it is needed. I know it'll do very well, because I know you're very serious about everything that you do. So congratulations on that. Please keep us posted on it. All right. Anything else you want to say to the people before we go?
No, thank you for having me once again. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and also get in contact with John if you need to get in contact with me, and I greatly appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you, sis, for coming on. Guys, stay tuned for Brother Chad's show coming up next. If you want to be blessed, you must bless somebody else. All right. Sis, I'll see you next time. I hear. Stay in touch with me.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right, be safe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Just wanted to let you know that the host of this show appreciates the time that you've spent with them. Now, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel so you can keep up with everything that we're doing. And most of all, thank you for tuning in to What Up Baltimore online radio, where the people have the power.